All right, Matt Davio back with Greg Harmon on August 5th, 1184 as we speak. We touched 1183 on the S&P futures here this morning, Greg, and everybody is shocked. This is now everybody's in shock and awe watching the stream. I've said 1120 to 80 was our target here sometime this fall, so we're doing it earlier than I thought. We hit 1163. I'm satisfied. I'm pretty much done for the summer. I know you're going on vacation, so what do you think?
I am going on vacation. I had a similar kind of thing. I had on some SPY. I trade the SPYs as opposed to the futures. I had on some SPY August 120, 115 put spreads that I took off this morning.
Nice.
We'll add them back if we hit 121 again today and manage those on vacation. But otherwise, I'll just play it safe.
So you're a chart guy, and like me, you see that very clearly. We were back to those, October, November, 2010 ranges. What's your big picture on this market?
Well, I actually took a look through the SPY on 3 time scales last night and wrote something up about it. The monthly on the SPY has been just looking ugly since May.
It has, and I'm full agreement. And that's what we've been saying. We said you actually got a false break in February, went to a new high, but then you got another sell signal in May. That's exactly what I saw. The same thing. So
yeah, although I am seeing the weekly and the daily as being very oversold.
Yep.
So
I agree.
I think we might get a bounce. I thought we might get one today on a surprise NFP number, but that doesn't seem to be happening. I think we get a bounce here pretty soon, sometime early mid next week, and then use that to sell the crap out of it again.
Right. Yeah, I think you've got to. We're way oversold, and again, kind of in that range. I think if 1140 goes, you got 1100 on the S&P 500. So you got to watch that level. But I think if you want to play the game and you want to be nimble and quick, this is probably going to be, whether it's today or Monday, who knows. But I'd rather personally wait to sell, rips right now. And again, there's a big vacuum up to that 1230, 1250 level. So I could see any rally up there with some type of intervention, some type of, means by the govies to get in there. Anything's possible. And it's going to be violent. It's going to be a violent move.
Yeah, there really wasn't a whole lot that happened between that space on the way up the first time.
No, there wasn't. and it's interesting. So the charts are getting fun now again. Don't you think? After let's call it what it was, almost a 2-year run of just the slow Cedar Point up move, if you will. That little the escalator up that we had for 2 years, very similar to what we saw in 03 through 05. And, now we're back to some volatile times. Who knows how long this volatility lasts? It seems like these bouts come and then they go as quickly as they come. So you got to take advantage of these things.
Yeah, I mean, there's some interesting things going on in the charts as well. If you look at the volatility index, the VIX,
yep.
That is really creeping up now, and near where it was, back in March.
Yeah. It's actually, it's actually well above it. I mean, March we only saw
March now.
31, and we're at 30. We hit 39 this morning. But if pull it back to a weekly, we're kind of getting towards those 08, 09 numbers even. Not quite. I mean, we got up to 90 there, but we're that 50 level rather in was it the flash crash in May of 10?
Yep, May 10.
Yeah, so we're getting back to that number, which is kind of interesting, on a weekly chart. And this might be what's interesting, Greg, on a big picture, you pull that weekly on that VIX, 96, 48, and 39, let's call it, 3 moves lower. Maybe this is, the longer term settling in for the next move higher on the overall markets. Who knows? This is something you got to look at. Was the VIX a good indicator on that? Who knows? But it's kind of interesting that if we don't get over that 50 level here, we've made another lower high on the VIX.
Yeah, and I talk to a lot of options guys that tell me, the VIX is a statistic. You can't trade off that. You can't chart it. But the chart looks pretty clear to me. Every time the RSI and the VIX has gotten over 70, it has sold off hard.
Right. Exactly. And RSI is 78 right now. Again, it was on the RSI. The RSI is nearly not. It got 94 there in the fall of '08 on a weekly chart. It got to what did it get to? About 82 there in April, May, and the flash crash. And here again, I'm looking at a weekly chart. We're not quite to 80. So again, successive price moves higher and RSI, but every one is lower than the last one. So I don't know. Mm-hmm. What do you any thoughts on that squelch, where it might be coming from?
I'm sorry, the squelch and what?
Well, just in, the lower prices ultimately, and that I'm just looking at a weekly chart of the VIX.
Why the peaks have been lower?
Yeah, the peaks are lower, and both in price and RSI. Does that mean anything to you?
It doesn't mean anything in terms of, well, what it means to me is that with a lower peak that we're going to continue to consolidate in a lower range.
Right.
That's what it tells me.
Okay.
That said, if you look at the trend in RSI from around about October 09 through to now, draw a bottom line support on that on a weekly chart, that's actually been rising.
Right. So we're starting to turn back up again.
Yeah, so, and you see that prior to 07, things were bouncing along at between the 10 and 15 level, and now they've been stopped on the low side down at 15.
That's true.
The last 3 years.
Yeah, we did dribble. And that was painful times as traders. I'm sure you recall 03 through 06. Just dribbling. We dribbled down there post 9/11, and now. So do you think? This is. I didn't expect it to go this way in the conversation, but do you expect, or do you think this is due to kind of the QE and the intervention nation that we've become? Is this why the VIX is kind of making that rounded bottom on a longer term chart? Do you think?
Well, certainly the fall off, I think, was due to the QE. The bounce back up now, there's a lot of world events going on that are causing some volatile times in all markets. So
what's your recommendation for people? Again, we're not, neither you nor I believe in buy and hold. We're traders. Mm-hmm. And, so what kind of skills do you think people can benefit and learn about, in this new world, in this new environment? Buy and hold has been dead for 12 years now, if not longer, and it's not coming back for our generation. So, what kind of tools do you recommend the layperson, get a grip on, as far as looking at longer term charts, when to take profits, when to buy?
Yeah, I think especially in this kind of environment, as well as the flat environment for the last 6 months prior to this fall, that it was a stock picking market. So, not quite the same as the difference between buy and hold and just trading, but more stock picking as opposed to playing the indices. I think now, the last couple of weeks, the indices have a lot more impact to them as well, as they're starting to trend again.
Right.
But what that meant to me was that it was time to either to do one of two things, and I think they're both applicable. The first is to either only day trade, so that you are not taking overnight exposure, because the whipsaws overnight have been killers at points.
Yep.
And then the second is to step back and look at things more on a weekly or monthly chart basis and trade off of that. Give yourself a bit of a wider stop on that, and look at some longer term things. Yeah, so those are the two things that have been driving how I look at the markets. And then I've been applying that as well in some, as you said, what can people take away to kind of reduce risk and all. I've been applying that in some pairs trades. Makes it a little easier. Put out a nice pairs trade on Take-Two Interactive versus Activision Blizzard a couple days ago, and
so two gaming software companies playing one long, one short. Is that what you're trying to do there? No.
Exactly. Just based on how the charts are looking against each other. Same thing in the shipping industry. Danios versus C-Cube.
Yeah.
That's more a play on leasing versus owning. some things like that.
And I think this is good. I think this is good information for people. And again, if you're all tech, maybe look at some ags. If you're all ags, maybe look at some tech and try to look at some correlations as Greg is suggesting. And even within sectors, obviously one versus the other, like Greg suggested, but also maybe uncorrelated items. Again, agriculture sometimes is people have to eat, kind of a safety issue. Utilities obviously are people are going to need to turn on their lights and heat their homes. These are ways to hedge yourself, traditional ways, I guess you could say, against some of these high volatility items and names, and when these markets get this way. And by all means, if you've been enjoying rides and a lot of these names, don't be afraid to take profits either. I always tell people this: don't wait for an event like this where the market's taking a 15 to 20% haircut to take your profits. Take them a little sooner. Don't wait.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to take those profits too in stocks. It's not just selling your stock; it's selling upside calls against it. It's stock replacement by selling stock and buying calls, so you've still got upside exposure, but you've taken money out and limited your downside risk. There's a lot of ways to play it.
So let me ask you this, and I won't keep you long here, but the stock markets are one thing. What do you think about some of the commodities and maybe the stocks in those areas? Oil has been hammered 115 down to 83 today. Gold's still hanging up here. Your thoughts on those two devices?
Yeah. Oil has been a market where it was hanging by a cusp, and now it's dropped from one trading range down into another trading range. Now I think like 83 to 88 is the new range now for a while. Unless it decides to break the 83, then it's got 79 written all over it.
Right.
I stayed away from that. That was a quick drop a couple days ago.
And what about
in terms of gold? I've been long gold, and I still think gold is a good long-term play. But I think we're at a pause point right here. I play gold in the ETF, the GLD, and have sold 162 calls for August against my long position. It's been hovering back and forth around there. I think 1645, 1665 on gold is a consolidation level there. If it breaks above that, 1700 comes quick.
Yep.
Breaks down below 1620 under that.
Yeah, we have similar levels there. Again, I play the physical on the futures, and I think that you can be a seller right now as long as it doesn't go over 1710. I don't like the even numbers, so I'll say any close over 1710, and the thing's going higher again. But I tend to agree with you, and I've actually got, for the first time, I haven't been in gold probably since I sold some of my long position at the 1500 level, so I haven't got this last 10% move, but I'm putting a little bet against gold right now. And again, it's not a long-term thing. It's just a trader thing, probably for the next 2 to 4 weeks. And I'll either be right or wrong if it's over 1710 on the physical. So I tend to agree with you there. And again, oil, that quick break of 88 to 83, like you said, Greg, is very telling. And I think I still do think it's got a date, even possibly. And I've said this too. I'll keep saying it, 40 to 60, even possible by next election year, which that would be the only way, I think, that from a political standpoint that, Obama would have a chance at term 2 at this point with this type of sell-off. He's going to have to get oil down to $40 to $60 and get some friends from the Mideast to help him out.
Yeah. That's quite a ways.
Order filled.
So we are rallying hard here, and
I'm close to buying my puts back.
We rallied 30 points off that low there in about 40 minutes, not even 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 40 minutes. 1163 to 1195, and again, looks like we're going to go higher. It does look like we're going higher. Gold's starting to get the beat down again. I sold that again here at 62, 63. That thing has been a great volatile trader right now, and you got to take advantage of these moments. I always tell folks. So that's it, Greg. Have a great trip down in Florida with the kiddies.
Thanks, Matt. You have a good week.
And we'll hit you on the other side.
Sounds good.
Okay, man.
Bye now.
Peace.